Have you ever found yourself wondering where all your money goes at the end of the month, even though your paycheck seemed big enough just a few weeks ago? Or maybe you've caught yourself stressing over a credit card bill, swiping it for something that didn't really feel necessary. If so, you're not alone. Many of us are quietly living beyond our means without even realizing it. But how can you tell if you're stretching your finances too thin? Let's talk about the 5 most common, some uncommon signs, and what you can do to get back on track. First, imagine this. Payday arrives, you feel a brief moment of relief. But within days, your account starts looking painfully empty again. That's the first sign. You're living paycheck to paycheck. It sounds simple, but it's one of the clearest indicators that something isn't quite right with your money. If you find that your salary disappears almost as soon as it lands, with nothing left over for savings or emergencies, you're probably spending more than you should. It doesn't matter if you're earning a little or a lot. Living paycheck to paycheck means your expenses are just barely or even not quite covered by your income. And if an unexpected bill pops up, a car repair, a medical emergency, there's no cushion to soften the blow. Let's look at a real-life example. Sarah, a recent graduate, lands her first corporate job. She's thrilled and rewards herself with new clothes, a better apartment, and dinners out with friends. But soon, she notices she's counting down the days until her next paycheck, and savings are non-existent. Sound familiar? It's a cycle that can be hard to break, but awareness is the first step. The second sign, your credit card balance keeps climbing, and you're only paying the minimum. Credit cards can be useful tools, but if you're consistently relying on them to cover basic expenses, groceries, utilities, or even rent, you're probably spending more than you earn. Over time, those minimum payments add up to a mountain of debt, thanks to the power of compound interest. Only, in this case, it's working against you. Remember, compound interest can be your best friend when you're saving or investing, but your worst enemy when you're in debt. Take Mike, for example. He started off using his credit card for a few small purchases, but over time, it became a habit. Before he knew it, his balance was more than he could pay off in a single month. He kept telling himself he'd catch up next month, but with interest piling on, the debt just kept growing. It's a slippery slope, but recognizing the pattern early can save you years of financial stress. The third sign is a bit sneakier. You struggle to save, or you don't save at all. Maybe you tell yourself you'll start saving when things get better, or after the next raise. But here's the truth. If you don't prioritize saving now, it only gets harder as your lifestyle grows. This is where the 50-30-20 rule can help. Aim to spend 50% of your take-home pay on needs, 30% on wants, and save at least 20%. Even if you need to start small, building the habit is what counts. Think of Emma, who decided to automate her savings, even just $20 per week. Over time, not only did her savings account grow, but she felt more in control of her finances. Having an emergency fund, ideally 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses, can be the difference between a minor inconvenience and a financial disaster. The fourth sign, you're upgrading your lifestyle as soon as your income increases. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's a trap almost everyone falls into at some point. Got a raise? Suddenly that old phone looks outdated, or maybe you're tempted by a nicer apartment. The problem is, if your expenses rise as quickly as your income, you never actually get ahead. Here's a classic example. When Tom got promoted, he he immediately leased a new car and started eating out more. But at the end of the year, he realized he was still struggling to save, just like before. The key is to delay gratification. Give yourself time to adjust to your new income before increasing your spending. Maybe reward yourself with a small treat, but save or invest the rest. Over time, those small decisions add up. The fifth and final sign: you're caught in a cycle of emotional spending. Maybe you treat yourself to a shopping spree after a tough week, or order takeout because you're feeling bored or stressed. Emotional spending can be comforting in the moment, but it often leads to regret and a shrinking bank balance. Recognizing your triggers is half the battle. Next time you feel the urge to make a purchase, ask yourself, will this still make me happy tomorrow? If the answer is no, try finding a healthier way to cope, like going for a walk, calling a friend, or journaling. So, what can you do if you recognize yourself in any of these signs? Start by tracking your expenses. You don't need fancy software. A simple spreadsheet or even a notebook works. Once you know where your money is going, you can start making conscious choices. Try different budgeting methods, like the envelope system or zero-based budgeting, to see what fits your personality and lifestyle. Remember, building good money habits takes time. It's not about depriving yourself, but about making intentional choices so you can enjoy your money now and in the future. If you're curious to learn more, dive into books like The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, or Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin for inspiration. Here's a practical challenge. For the next month, commit to tracking every dollar you spend. At the end, review your spending and see where you can cut back. Maybe you'll discover you're spending more on takeout than you realized, or that a few small subscriptions are adding up fast. Use what you learn to make small, sustainable changes. In the end, living within your means isn't about sacrifice. It's about freedom. The freedom to make choices, to weather life's storms, and to build the future you want. The earlier you start, the easier it gets. And remember, your financial journey is uniquely yours. Every step you take today sets you up for a brighter, more secure tomorrow. So are you ready to take control of your money and your future?